This is the first visit of Prime Minister Wong to India in his current position as Prime Minister. He'd earlier come when he was Deputy Prime Minister.
We next have the exchange of
The visit,
understanding between India
as you know, commenced on 2nd of September and will go on till tonight when he will be returning to Singapore. Singapore is an important partner for us. The two countries share a long-standing friendship and a strong, multifaceted bilateral partnership marked by mutual understanding. This is a significant visit as it coincides with the 60th anniversary of diplomatic relations between India and Singapore, which were established soon after Singapore's independence in 1965. In fact, India was among the first countries to formalize diplomatic ties with Singapore. The visit is also special as it marks a year of Prime Minister Modi's successful visit to Singapore on 4-5 September 2024. Prime Minister Wong is accompanied by his spouse, Mrs. Wong, and a high-level delegation comprising 3 ministers and senior officials. On his arrival in Delhi, Prime Minister Wong visited Rajghat, where he paid his respects to Mahatma Gandhi. Our Prime Minister held wide-ranging and productive talks with Prime Minister Wong in both restricted and full delegation formats. PM hosted lunch in honor of the Prime Minister of Singapore. Prime Minister Wong will call on Rashtrapati Ji later today. The External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, called on Prime Minister Wong earlier today. You would recall that during PM's visit to Singapore last year, both sides had agreed to elevate our relationship to a comprehensive strategic partnership. Today, the two leaders adopted a roadmap for our comprehensive strategic partnership. The roadmap truly reflects the range and depth of our bilateral cooperation and provides direction and momentum to it. This roadmap will facilitate bilateral engagements across 8 priority areas, including economic cooperation, skills development, digitalization, sustainability, connectivity, healthcare and medicine, defense and security cooperation, and people-to-people and cultural exchanges. 5 agreements or MOUs have been concluded in important fields and were exchanged a short while ago. These include cooperation on a green and digital shipping corridor, promoting collaboration in the space sector, cooperation in training and R&D in the field of civil aviation, cooperation on digital asset innovation, and establishment of a National Center of Excellence for Skilling in Advanced Manufacturing in Chennai. Separately, underscoring the importance of enhancing regional connectivity and port infrastructure to facilitate trade and economic growth, the two Prime Ministers jointly virtually inaugurated the Phase 2 development of the Bharat-Mumbai Container Terminal (BMCT) at Jawaharlal Nehru Port, JNP, Maharashtra. This project, developed on a design, build, finance, operate and transfer (DBFOT) basis, is operated by PSA International of Singapore. It is noteworthy that completion of this phase has doubled PSA's terminal capacity to 4.8 million TEUs annually, establishing it as India's largest single container terminal and thus makes JNP the largest container port in the country. Both Prime Ministers noted that there has been an uptick in bilateral relations since the last visit of Prime Minister Modi to Singapore. We hosted the President of Singapore, His Excellency Tharman Shanmugaratnam, for a state visit in January this year. As you would recall, several union ministers and chief ministers from various states of India have also visited Singapore in recent months and years. We also hosted several Singaporean ministers, the latest being for the one-of-a-kind bilateral mechanism of the India-Singapore Ministerial Roundtable. The third round of ISMR, the Ministerial Roundtable, was held just about 20 days ago, when 10 ministers from both sides held detailed discussions on the 6 pillars identified. These exchanges reflect the importance attached by the two sides to our bilateral cooperation. The two prime ministers appreciated the sustained expansion in bilateral trade, which has grown from about $6.7 billion in 2004-5
Thank you, gentlemen.
to nearly
We next have
$35
the
billion
exchange of memorandum of
in
understanding
2024-25.
between Indian National Space
They
Program
agreed
and
that the two
Authorization
sides
Center
should work on
and
the
Economic
next review of the
Development Board,
India-Singapore
Office of Space
SICA
Technology and Industry,
and the
Singapore, on
ASEAN-India
promoting
Trade and
collaboration
Goods
in the space
Agreement,
sector.
ITIGA.
This will be exchanged on the
The Prime
Singapore side by
Ministers
Mr.
also
Johnson
appreciated
Han,
the growing
Executive
investment
Director
flows
of
between
SAIL,
India and
and on the
Singapore
Indian side by Shri
and noted
Imran
the potential
East.
to increase these further. As you would recall, in financial year 2024-25, Singapore was the largest source of FDI into India, and it is also the largest for cumulative FDI into India, amounting to nearly $170 billion.
Thank
Many
you.
Indian companies have also established their footprint in Singapore
Taking
as a
forward
gateway
Prime
to
Minister
Southeast
Modi's
Asia and
vision
beyond.
for port-led development, we shall now witness
India-Singapore
the joint
relations
virtual inauguration
are not
of
only robust
Trivandrum
but are also
Airport
future-oriented,
PSA Mumbai Terminal,
our
DMCC
cooperation
Phase 2.
expanding to
This will
new
be
and
followed by
emerging
introduction of a
areas.
video on JN Port.
The two Prime
Prime
Ministers
Ministers, may I
expressed
request you to press the
satisfaction
button and
on progress
unveil
made
the
in
digital plaque.
new areas such as semiconductors, green economy, including green shipping, skill development, digitalization, space,
Thank you,
next
Minister.
generation industrial
We
parks,
next have the
etc.
exchange of memorandum of understanding between
We had
India and
exchanged an
Singapore
MOU on
concerning
semiconductor
cooperation on a
ecosystem
green and
partnership
digital
during the
shipping
visit
corridor.
of
This
Prime
will be
Minister Modi
exchanged
to
on the
Singapore
Singapore
last year.
side by Mr.
Under
K.P.
this
Rao,
MOU, we
Acting
have set
Minister
up a
for Culture
bilateral
and Chief Minister
semiconductor
of
policy
State Finance,
dialogue,
Singapore,
and both
and
sides
Shri
are
Sarbanan
working
Sonowal on
on
protection of
investments,
port
business to
shipping and
business
waterways,
connect,
India.
skilling, and R&D to promote the semiconductor ecosystem in India, thus making it a very promising area of cooperation in the coming years. Singapore has also been an important partner for us in the field of education, capacity building, and skill development.
Thank you, Ministers.
We
next
appreciate
have the
Singapore's
exchange
support for
of
the National
memorandum
Center of
understanding
Excellence
between
in
Airports
Skilling
Authority of
project.
India and the Civil
Singapore
Aviation
will
Authority
be
of
our
Singapore
partner
for training, research, and development.
for the
The
National Center of
aviation
Excellence
will
in
be
Skilling
exchanged
in the area of
on the
advanced
Singapore side by
manufacturing
the
to
High
be set
Commissioner
up
of Singapore to
at the
India,
National
Mr.
Skill
Wong,
Training
and on the
Institute
Indian
in
side by
Chennai.
Shri Samir Kumar Sinha, Secretary
Singaporean
of
companies
Aviation.
have also invested in green hydrogen and green ammonia space in India. The MOU concluded on green and digital shipping corridor will facilitate collaboration on zero or near zero greenhouse gas emission fuel supply chains, and our maritime industries stand to benefit from this
Thank you,
agreement.
gentlemen. We next
Under the
have the exchange of
digitization pillar,
memorandum of understanding
we have the
between
UPI
Ministry
PayNow
of Skill
Connect,
Development and
established in
Entrepreneurship,
2023,
India, and the Ministry
and
of Trade, Industry,
has
Republic of
emerged as an
Singapore
important
for establishing a national
collaboration
center of
project in
excellence
fintech.
for skilling in
Both
advanced
sides are now expanding
manufacturing
its scope
at the
and reach.
National Skill Training Institute, Chennai.
We
This will
also
be
exchanged
exchanged
the
on the
MOU
Singapore
on
side
digital
by the High
asset
Commissioner
innovation
of
today, which
Singapore,
will
Mr.
help
Simon Wong, and on
foster
the Indian side by
cooperation
Shri Vikram Misri
between
Foundation.
RBI on our side and the Monetary Authority of Singapore, MAS, in the digital space, including central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. We also have ongoing cooperation in the area of space.
Thank you,
ISRO
gentlemen.
has
We
launched
next have the
18
exchange of
Singaporean
memorandum
satellites
of
in the past,
understanding between Indian
and
National
with the
Space
MOU
Promotion and
exchanged
Authorization
today,
Center
we will be
and the
working
Economic Development Board,
for
Office of
further
Space
collaboration in the
Technology and
areas
Industry,
of
Singapore,
space
on
technology and
promoting
space
collaboration in the
startups.
space sector. This will be exchanged
Defense
on the Singapore
cooperation
side by Mr. Johnson Han,
was also
Executive
acknowledged
Director
as an
of
important
SAIL,
area
and
of
on the Indian side by Shri
bilateral
P. Conrad
partnership.
Petrie East.
It was agreed to further the momentum of exchanges and training cooperation, as well as engagement between the two sides, including all the three services. There was also agreement to explore cooperation in the defense technology space. Finally, India and Singapore have very strong people-to-people bonds. The thriving
Taking
Indian
forward
community
Prime
in
Minister
Singapore
Modi's
is a
vision
living
for
bridge
port-led development,
and
we
makes
shall now
valuable
witness the
contributions.
joint virtual inauguration
It was
of
agreed to
Trivandrum
further
Airport
strengthen our
PSA Mumbai
cultural and
Terminal,
people-to-people
DMCC
ties.
Phase 2.
The two
Which
prime
will be followed by
ministers also
introduction of a
discussed
video
India's
on
relations with
JN Port.
ASEAN,
Uh,
and Singapore
Ministers,
has
may I
always
request you
been
to
an
press the
important
button and
partner in
unveil
India's
the
Act
digital
East
plaque.
policy.